Guys, welcome back to the Prime Dude. Your host, Rob Edwards here, and it is a shoe review day. That's right, this is the really exciting Bridlen Shoes, Bridlen Bootmakers and Shoemakers, Museum Brown Balmoral Oxford. Before we get into the full review, guys, Prime Dude appreciates your support. Like, subscribe, put the show on your alerts. I really do enjoy having your comments, your feedback. And again, these shoe reviews are one of a kind because I go deep into not just the style and how they're built, but how they wear. The Balmoral, right? The Bal Oxford from Bridlen Shoemakers, an Indian shoemaker that makes Goodyear welted shoes. And for me, this was under $300. The prices have gone up a little bit, but not too much. They range, this is the Founders line, around $380, and that's their top line shoes. They offer a ready-to-wear, because the Founders line's made to order. They offer Blake stitched. They are a full-service dress shoe company. Let's take a quick look at the website, talk about the founding of the company, and then we'll jump to the shoe table and then my final wear and use review. Bridlen's been around since like 1986, so it's an old company. That's a long time. They were mainly a white glove shoemaking service in 1986 for other companies. But the company we know was truly founded by two men in the 2000s, a Muhammad Hassan, Mr. Muhammad Hassan, and a Mr. Jose Maria Watanabe. I finally nailed it. Got those names. They were tough. So these two are the folks we know. And the website is really homage to Mr. Watanabe because sadly, after getting this going and building the company with Mr. Hassan that we know, Mr. Watanabe died in 2019. But Bridlen Bootmakers and Shoemakers lives on in the Japanese and Spanish shoemaking tradition of Mr. Watanabe, really felt in the company. Mr. Hassan has ensured that. And of course, he brings his Indian shoemaking expertise to give us what could be incredible. Is this shoe, are these shoes going to hold up at what I paid just under $300, really about $380 for the Founders line? Is it worth it? First off, the Founders line. These are incredible shoes. Now, this is the chip last, which is a pretty good last for average width fit. My shoes are the zip last, and the zip last does read also that it can accommodate wide feet. Do not worry. If you have an average size foot, you can confidently order from Bridlen, especially their more elongated lasts. Detail-wise, the shoes are gorgeous. Now, this is not the pair I have. They right now are out, as of filming this show, are out of the Balmoral Oxford in Museum Brown calf. But this is a great close brother of that shoe. Now, this is a full wingtip brogue in a beautiful brown. This is their standard brown, and they come in all the regular sizes. I wear a 9.5 UK in Bridlen shoes. That's my true to size fit, so you can confidently, again, order these shoes. Just looking at the Founders line details, you have high quality box calf leather. That's what they use in the Founders line. And of course, all their leather quality is incredible. But with the Founders line, you have these unique soles, this bark tanned, oak tanned soles that they offer in beautiful beveled waists. They really do, and you'll see this over at the shoe table, add some extra style in the last. This is a little bit wider last in the chip last. I recommend if you have an average size, maybe go with the zip last like I did. So let's dive into it at the shoe table. The zip last Balmoral Museum Brown Oxford from Bridlen Shoes.
All right, let's have a look at it. The Balmoral Oxford in Museum Brown calf from Bridlen. So we've unboxed it. We've talked a little bit about the shoe, gone through the price point, which I'll remind you is $293. And when you first look at this does not look like a shoe that's under $300 US. So as I've seen on YouTube, this is definitely looks right now as good or better than I expected. I mean, I've watched a number of really good shoe people break down their first impressions, the construction of other Bridlen shoes. This is the first Balmoral that I know of. What makes it a Balmoral? Probably talked about this already, but this horizontal stitching along the quarter, the hind quarter of the shoe, it's reminiscent of the Scottish boots of the 19th century, and so they were Balmoral boots, and this is an adaptation of that, of course, in an Oxford dress shoe with the inset lacing system. And then, not always the case, but a little sartorial touch here from Bridlen are the broguing, and of course the broguing going with the beautiful very even, very well lined up to the stitching, fudging along the broguing of the Balmoral, what I'll call waist, but the horizontal stitching that is so distinctive in this type of shoe. Of course, we've got a cap toe. So this is a Balmoral cap toe, right? Oxford dress shoe. Again, always just a nice look, more broguing and fudging along the cap toe stitch. A very traditional shoe as well. I'd say a fairly dressy shoe, but one that is playful enough to go with your casual suits, your slacks, your navies, your grays. This would even go with all your browns, light browns, no problem. I think even, it'd be debatable because of the burnishing of the museum calf that adds the light hues. Maybe not midnight blue, dark navy, but you could. I mean, there's a lot of, shoe debate saying that has to be black. I disagree. I think definitely a solid dark brown. I have a pair of Aldens that are classic balls. I think they're Balmorals too, with that horizontal stitching, and they're a very deep dark brown. They look fantastic with navy, midnight blue, dark blues, dark grays as well. I would definitely enjoy wearing this with a dark gray. Let's look at the sole, right? Let's take a deeper dive into that. What do you notice? Closed channel stitching. That's 2 in a row after the TLB Majorcas. Also a great value. I mean, this shoe is almost $150 less US than the TLB Majorca Artista 106s I reviewed a couple weeks ago. And here we go. We've got another closed channel stitch, which is a real sign of luxury. I mean, this is high-end shoe stuff. And again, at $293, I'm stunned. I'm just kind of blown away. And this isn't my very first time looking at it. I had to try these on, and you might pick up a little bit of scratching. That's me. Once I realized these fit, I did try them on hardwood. That could be seen as a mistake, because once you start scraping this even a little, they're yours, and I totally get that. I did go true to size with this in a UK 9.5, which is a US 10.5, and I am keeping this shoe, and I'll tell you about my first impressions wearing it after we take a closer look. So let's get back to the upper, then we'll go back to some more details of the sole. One thing I don't want to forget, we talked about this horizontal stitching, and I'll overlay something if I need to, but this is a measurement of almost 14 stitches per inch, an SPI of 14 stitches per inch. I measured at a few points, and that is incredible. Again, we are in luxury shoe zone there at $293. You're over 12 stitches per inch. At that point, it becomes kind of negligible. That is the luxury shoe category, over 12. You get over 14, you're getting into the bespoke level of shoes. Looking at the saddle, beautiful stitching along the saddle, nice and tight. This is where these direct to customer online luxury shoes really shine. I'll always be a lover of Allen Edmonds, but this is where I've seen the difference in the shoes I've evaluated, which are out of pocket my expense, is the neatness of the stitching in the production. You'll occasionally with Allen Edmonds see a stitch that's a little off. Again, it's under the microscope. It's not something anyone's going to notice except for us. And again, the fudging along these brogues, these punch holes, is just perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'm really impressed. Okay, back to the sole. We've talked about the closed channel stitching. Now how about these beautiful brass clenching nails? We've got the same in a horseshoe pattern, which is a decorative style for the heel. And of course we have them at the toe. It does add reinforcement, a little extra protection. And these nails are actually inside the sole, bent in towards the last. And of course you can add toe taps to these shoes at Bridlen. I opt not to, as you guys have followed me a little bit, or for those of you who are new, the value of my program and my evaluation is that I wear these shoes a lot. I think more than the folks that value these shoes out of the box, especially when they're sent to them by these companies. I really put them to the test. And as much as I'd love to have toe taps, they would definitely cause me problems at the airport. I've thought about doing it, thinking, okay, I could get there a little earlier or deal with taking these on and off. But think about it, I'm not sure I'll always have a shoehorn with me, and that could cause some serious problems and just stress for me as I put these on and off, trying to catch a flight, not looking to damage these shoes any more than they get when I'm on my typical Southwest Airlines flight traversing the country. But just a beautiful detail with the nails. And again, if it wasn't for this 1/4-inch rubber heel, which I'm a big fan of because of slippage, if you just had this as a leather heel with the horseshoe decorative nails, the brass tacks in the heel, you would slip. And that's been something I've read about quite a bit. Every dress shoe I've received of my extensive all have some kind of, rubber heel, 1/4-inch rubber heel to keep from slipping. And I'm sure glad the folks at Bridlen take the time to add that detail. Now let's move back to the heel. Standard, but very high quality backstay. This leather strap here reinforcing the heel. And of course, nice curvature. I would say slightly sculpted heel, but helps with fit, which comes in handy for me in the last, this being the zip last, which is, as I've mentioned and will mention again, and I didn't realize this till after I ordered, it is intended for a slightly wider, and they even describe it as a double E width foot. I didn't experience that trying it on, and we'll talk more in the conclusion when we get into final fit and experience wearing the shoe. You see the nice Bridlen logo. These are fully leather lined heels, right? Just a nice feel. They're nice and comfortable. The heel is reinforced well. Again, always using that shoehorn. I travel with one. Have a nice metal one here at home and a plastic one that I travel with that definitely does the job. Talking about the contour of the shoe, just the overall how it looks. One, is there a blind waist? I mean, that's about as blind as it gets, right? Really, again, something you don't see in a shoe that's less than $300 is this kind of last in this kind of design with the sole. A really nice look there. And one last thing, again, we were talking about the width of the last. You can see there's not a lot of bevel to the last or contour, and you can see here, if you have wider feet, if you're someone that has to order from like Allen Edmonds because of foot width, this could be a really good shoe for you. Again, it fits me in average width, but some of the lasts, not this one, not the zip, but the char or some of the other ones, there's a chip last, I think, that's a triple E width that will take good care of you if you have really wide feet. But that'll conclude our look here on the shoe table. Again, this is the Balmoral Oxford Museum Brown Calf in a UK 9.5 closed channel sole, beautiful brass nails, brass tacking, as they'll say too, on the heel and the toe, cap toe, lots of beautiful broguing. Again, Balmoral horizontal stitching. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in, and let's close it out, and I'll let you know how these worked out when I gave them the run for the first time.
These shoes looked great. We know that. You know that now that you've watched the shoe table. How did they wear? How did they perform? I can say I'm still blown away just holding them and remembering how good these shoes felt almost immediately is incredible. I have to love the ease of styling and pairing of dark brown and a museum dark brown color in a beautiful brogued cap toe Oxford. The Balmoral stitching is really cool. This is an easy shoe to pack and bring on a business trip, really for anything. Wearing them, I loved walking in them, and because Bridlen, even the zip last that I have, makes it a little bit wider, I was worried. How are these shoes going to feel? Absolutely no problem. I wear average size like an Allen Edmonds, a D, and my shoes have been coined as a little bit, my feet, a little bit narrow from the folks that looked at them when I measured them for Yearn, for Blackbird, for Bridlen. These guys are fantastic. So what will it work? Will these wider lasts or slightly wider lasts work? No problem. The zip last is elongated. I think that's the word you want to look for anytime you're buying a shoe, and these guys will work with you. If you want to send an outline pencil measurement of your feet, of your foot for them to look at. They'll make recommendations on the size. They're not always right when these companies do it. I think, though, you can confidently, based on my review and experience, you can order true to size, your standard size, like a 9.5 UK for me, which is 10.5 US for my shoe size. Tremendous price, tremendous construction, tremendous style. Bravo, Bridlen bootmakers and shoemakers. I'm just so excited about what we're getting out of India in these handmade. These are Goodyear welted shoes. You can take advantage of even lower prices, $100, about $108 for the Blake Stitch line. You can go with the main line, which is going to save you some money, about $60 off the Founders line. They're still Italian leather soles. They're just a great look, a nice, beautiful, classy dress shoe options. They've got boots. I've got a pair of the Chukka boots because as soon as I wore these Oxfords, I was like, okay, I've got a winner here, and I ordered another pair. The review is going to be a way down the road because they're getting made, but Bridlen is a rock star of a shoe company. You can get some of their stuff discounted brand new at like the Shoe Snob marketplace. They make they resell, or actually resell is the wrong word. Justin offers shoes that I think are no longer being made, and they're discounted. So I did order a pair of Wingtips that are still available on the Bridlen website for about $322, I think. I got them for $199 in my size at the Shoe Snob marketplace. So that's going to do it. I enjoyed this review. I love these shoes. These are a blast to wear. You know, compared to stuff I've paid 3 times more, this is right there. This is a shoe built to last. I'll have them forever. And these will be easy to resole and recraft because they're Goodyear welted. So I can recommend to you to get to that website, order something made to order if you can. I think even at $380, the Founders line is going to save you money compared to something built this well and looks this good. That does it for the shoe review. That's Bridlen Shoemakers. Again, loved it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for always coming here and staying with me till the end. Like, subscribe, put on alerts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, stay prime.